Hey, peace everybody. It's Mumtahana with Beyond Clouds. It's been a minute. I wanted to take a few minutes whilst I drive to talk about grief and owning your grief authentically. Because one of the things I find, and I'm speaking as a mother who has lost a child through violence, and also a child who was, doing good things in the world. I thank Creator so much that he was allowed to grow into his manhood and was not, taken when he was younger out there doing stuff in the streets, he, for years, he had been, and he wasn't doing no like crazy stuff. He wasn't shooting up places, nothing like that. But he wasn't doing what I had raised him to do. You know how that is, y'all. He wasn't being as I thought he should be, and doing the things that I thought he should be doing. And apparently I was right. And so, I think it's horrific enough to lose a child just to whatever, SIDS, illness, even somebody just coming and doing, some heinous sort of crime. But I think at least that it probably hits, from a different perspective when it's someone who's doing good in the world, and on top of that, the people who he is doing it for are the ones who plot against him and kill him or her. And so I'm speaking from that place, but this rings true regardless, I think. So I've been reflecting. I'm very analytical, or I analyze myself very much anyway, just my nature. I'm always trying to figure myself out and hopefully do better. And so I have this really cool book, which I keep forgetting the name of, but I have this really cool book on grief, and it's like a daily, not even affirmation, it's every day it touches on something dealing with grief. It's like a paragraph every day. It's not long at all. And for me, it causes me, or helps me to further analyze my grief. And, I jot down notes, like I'll write something or whatever. Because I'm a journaler. I like to journal and write my thoughts for my descendants. But anyway, so it's been causing me to self-reflect even more. And one of the things that I figured this before the book, but I guess it's helping me to go a little bit deeper, is that it can be very difficult. It can be very difficult attempting to navigate what you're going through emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even physically, when you're dealing with grief. And again, in particular, moms who lose children. And that's not to negate what a dad goes through by any means. Again, I can only speak from a woman's point of view or a mother's point of view, and I know what I went through. I know what I still go through. Next week will be a year since my son was murdered. What I find is that people, they're not going to understand. We already get that unless they've been through it. Just like I can't understand what it is to get shot up or anything, you know what I mean? I can't relate to that. I can sympathize and empathize, but I can't truly understand because I've never been shot I guess that same sort of thing where people won't necessarily understand what you are going through. But the issue is people will try to downplay, mock, condescend you and your journey. You know what I'm saying? And that can be intentional or not. It can be conscious or not. And it can be by people who care for you. You know? And what I have come to the conclusion of, it may be inaccurate, but I believe it is quite accurate, is that people will try to push you on from your grief. Like, okay, get over it. He gone. That's what God wanted. Pray for God. God gonna take care of it. Just leave it alone. You know, like you're doing too much. You know, I've actually been told I'm doing too much. And you know, again, people like to use God a lot when they want you to bend to their own will. And you know, it's presented oftentimes, and most often, as them trying to look you out. But I'm thoroughly convinced that it's more they're trying to look themselves out, you know, because we're self-centered beings for the most part, I believe. But you know, I think it's more of, they don't really care when it comes down to it that you are going through a journey. They don't want to go through the journey with you. They're tired of hearing you talk about it. They're tired of, even if you don't talk about it, they're tired of calling you and not knowing if you're going to talk about it, because they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know what to say. Quite frankly, it's not affecting them in the same way. So it's like, I don't get it. Like, okay, like you still, I mean, gone. You know what I mean? And I'm here to say to all y'all mommies, daddies, grievers, period, forget them. Forget them. You know what I want to say? I'm trying to be a good girl. I'm trying to be holy today. Forget them. Okay? Do what you have to do. Embrace your grief. I'm feeling emotional right now, and I don't know why. I'm trying not to cry. Embrace your grief, I say. For me, the grief that I feel for my son is synonymous with the love I have for my son. I don't want my grief to go away. Why would I not want to feel this pain and this hurt, this betrayal, all these feelings, this, you know, missing him, wanting to hear him, wanting to laugh with him, wanting to whatever, annoy him, like whatever, to have him here in this world. I believe he exists in another world, a spiritual world. I get that. I get that his spirit is still thriving, perhaps in a much better place than he would have been here. I get that. But I'm here. So I want my baby here with me. And so, and more than anything, I want him to have not experienced the evil that he experienced. And so, quite frankly, I don't give a damn about none of them, because they have not infested in my son then or now what I have. I've never been the type of person anyhow with anything that needs someone acceptance or needs someone to like co-sign it or stand by my side like, go ahead girl, it's okay. I've never been that type of person anyway. But sometimes, and again, I understand these are just human experiences that we're all, me and them, are going through. But sometimes it just kind of annoys me, because it's like the audacity of you. Screw you. Go on over there. I didn't ask you to call me. I didn't ask you to do this or do that. forget that so many people, they have such a problem with even thinking about death, because I don't understand that, because, we're always so ready and willing to have a baby. What do you think is going to happen? If you bring life into the world, it has to leave this place. That's a given. But, people don't like to deal with those things. They don't like to hear about your stuff. People talk about being empaths like it's some cool, term these days, but they're not truly empathetic. Things are so topical and such. And so, it makes it even more difficult for so many grievers. Again, I'm speaking from a mother's perspective, but grievers who have lost anyone, any sort of relationship. It's horrible the way that, people can treat us sometimes, especially those of us who truly need someone. And, I've been blessed to have people in my life who have been there for me. But again, at the onset, it was like, oh, I got you, which I needed them then, But then it started to wane, sort of. I won't say quickly, but soon after, and then, it's like you're almost there on your own. I listen to grievers on, like TED Talks and things like that. And I remember one TED Talk in particular I listened to, and the woman was saying how she was at her husband suddenly died while jogging or something, and they're at the funeral. She's by her husband's casket, and one of their friends came and said to her, like, you'll be okay, you'll find another man just as good as he was. And she like, I'm at my husband's casket, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? And then another woman was saying how she would just go and sit at her husband's grave. She kept the chair in her trunk. I do the same. I sit at my son's, where my son is, my son's gravesite, and I sit and pray and stuff like that. So I get it. And she said she would go all the time, and her friends decided for themselves, without asking her permission, that enough is enough. She needs to move on. He's gone. She needs to get on with her life. So they like took the chair out of her trunk so that she couldn't go there anymore. Like, she can't get another chair. But they took it because for them it was time to move on. Like, get going with life. You know what I mean? So people do things, and it's like just the audacity of it all, like just the audacity of it. So again, my whole point for this too long video is to encourage all you grievers, forget them. Do not let them get into your psyche. This is about you and your loved one. That's it. And creator. That's it. Forget what they do and don't like. Forget what they do and don't think that you should be doing for yourself and for your grief. It's not their journey. It's not their lessons to be learned. It is about you and yours. So yeah, forget all that. Do what you have to do, love. Get a journal, get a book. I don't remember the name of the book, but I'm gonna put it somewhere, maybe another little short reel or something like that with the book name on it, or maybe I'll try to attach it at the end of this video or something. But yeah, that book for me is really good. They have lots of grief books out there. I like this one. This one spoke to me because, for one, it's quick. As I said, it has daily entries, and they're really short, like a paragraph. Probably all of them are a paragraph, or if it's 2 paragraphs, they're like short. And it just causes me to reflect and help me, articulate my own feelings and my own wants. How do I want to deal with this? How do I want to give to my son? How do I want to move in this? I've been blessed, and that Creator made me my son's successor, and so I delved right into the work, the social activism, and the charitable endeavors and things like that. So I have an outlet, and it's something that I'm doing for my son, because in the Islamic tradition, we believe that any charity that we ourselves do while we are here, and any charity that someone does on our behalf in our name after we transition, that it all helps us in the spirit world, in the Akira. And so for me, this is me giving to my son and, helping him wherever he is. Wa ala hawailam, Creator knows best. And, well, al hawailam means allows Noah. But, so those things help me. But I'm going to tell you, when I'm alone in this car, or when I'm not busy, and I have the time, even if it's me not doing it on purpose, but I have the time for my brain to just relax for a minute and be still, it pops in my head. It makes it real to me, like, oh yeah, like, this isn't temporary. He, like, legit is never coming back. I'm never going to hear his voice, or touch him or smell him, or, any of that stuff. And then it gets real. But anyway, I am going to go because I'm actually preparing. I'm going to speak tomorrow at an event for a black man, a young black man like my son. He was 32. He died in Northern State Prison, which is in North New Jersey, my hometown. And according to his mom and her spokesperson, the officers and the authorities said that he died by suicide, and they say absolutely not possible. His mom and his friends insist that this is not possible. It seems weird to me because, like, according to them, he was going to be released in 4 months, and he was, like, really enthusiastic about it, really ready to go home and get back into, working to achieve his goals. He used to be MVP, a really great basketball player in college, and, whatever else he had on his mind that he wanted to get back into, being an athlete, I'm sure. Well, I imagine he wanted to get back into working out and just getting back on the right track. We all fall off, honey. Things that I have, gotten into unwillingly, mostly just being an idiot, being with the wrong people. There are plenty of times that I could have, ended up in a very on a very twisted path. But, for whatever reason, Creator had me. Alhamdulillah. And sometimes we just get caught out there, and sometimes we need that to reflect and decide, like, this ain't the life for me. Or, there's all sorts of reasons why we can end up in places. I believe sometimes it's because, maybe we need to be there for another person, whatever the case is. Nonetheless, the brother ended up there. He was about to be out, and he was really excited about that. And he ended up dead. So they're having a fundraiser for him tomorrow in Flemington, New Jersey. I'll be there speaking, inshallah, about my baby, Murid, 2 Clouds. And I'm very honored that I was invited to speak, because even though we're dealing with differences with what happened to our sons, And our situation dealing a lot with indigenous issues. It doesn't matter. They were both black men. We identify, of course, as African American as well as Afro Indigenous. And again, we're from Newark. But where we have definite similarities is how the justice system dealt with our sons, and millions of other black women and brown women and red women have dealt with the same things with their sons. So again, I'm very honored to be speaking there tomorrow, and hopefully we're gonna help Joshua's mom, Joshua McMillan, his mom, get his name and story out there more and more. We got to look out for each other, while carrying this grief. But it's just part of the work. It's part of the work. So anyway, peace. Check y'all later.